They told you the real war would be fought in secret, but they were wrong. It's already here and it's no longer hidden. This is not just a regional conflict. This is a power struggle fueled by ideology, history, and the ambition to reshape the future of the Middle East. Iran and Israel, two sworn enemies, have stepped out of the shadows and into direct confrontation. What triggered this sudden explosion of violence? How close are we to all-out war? And what does it mean for the rest of the world? What's happening between Iran and Israel is not just another news story. It's a geopolitical earthquake. By the end of this story, you'll understand the roots, the escalation, and what might come next. It didn't begin with missiles, but with fear. In 1979, the Iranian Revolution replaced a pro-Western monarchy with a theocratic regime that openly called for the destruction of Israel. Since then, Tehran has seen Israel not just as a military rival, but as a symbol of everything it opposes: Western influence, secularism, and regional domination. For decades, Iran built a web of influence around Israel: Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas and Islamic Jihad in Gaza, militias in Syria and Iraq, the Houthis in Yemen. These are Iran's long arms, used not just to project power, but to slowly choke Israel with threats on every border. Their funding, training, and weapons came directly from Tehran. But Israel didn't stay silent. Mossad struck back from the shadows. Iranian nuclear scientists were assassinated in broad daylight. Mysterious explosions rocked uranium enrichment sites. Israel wanted one thing above all: to prevent Iran from ever building a nuclear weapon, and so this shadow war burned quietly until it didn't. In October 2023, everything changed. Hamas launched a surprise attack on Israel from Gaza, killing over 1,200 people in a single day. It was the deadliest attack in Israel's history. Israel retaliated with overwhelming force. Buildings fell, lives were lost, and somewhere behind it all, Iran loomed. Though it denied direct involvement, its fingerprints were all over the weapons, the funding, and the strategy. Then came the chain reaction. Hezbollah launched rockets from Lebanon. Iranian militias attacked American bases in Iraq. Houthi drones targeted ships in the Red Sea. The region teetered on the edge, but it didn't stop there. In January 2024, Israel struck a diplomatic facility in Damascus, killing high-ranking officers of Iran's Revolutionary Guard. It wasn't just an attack, it was a message. And Iran heard it loud and clear. In April 2024, Iran launched over 300 drones and missiles directly at Israel. Never before had Iran attacked Israel from its own soil. This was a first, and although most of the missiles were intercepted by Israel's defense systems with help from the US, the UK, and even Jordan, a red line had been crossed. The war was no longer a proxy, it was open. Now the situation is spiraling. Iran believes backing down would shatter its image. Its hardliners, emboldened by confrontation, view escalation as a means of survival. Meanwhile, Israel is operating on a ticking clock. Its leaders are convinced that Iran is mere weeks away from developing a nuclear weapon, and Israel has made it clear it will not let that happen. The Israeli military is already rehearsing scenarios for a potential strike on Iran's nuclear facilities, but those facilities are deep underground, scattered across a vast country, and defended by a complex network of air defenses. Hitting them would require more than just firepower, would require precision, coordination, and the willingness to ignite a full-scale war. And Iran is ready. Its Revolutionary Guard has missiles that can reach every corner of Israel. Hezbollah possesses more than 150,000 rockets. The Houthis are targeting ships in strategic waterways. Tehran has built a regional war machine, and it's fully mobilized. America is caught in the middle. It can't afford to abandon Israel, but it also fears the consequences of a wider war. U.S. bases in the region are on high alert. Aircraft carriers patrol the Mediterranean. Diplomats are scrambling to prevent a nightmare scenario. And yet, diplomacy is failing. Arab states, once hopeful for a new era of normalization with Israel, are now backing away. The Abraham Accords have frozen. The Saudi-Israeli deal is on life support. Russia and China are deepening ties with Tehran, offering weapons, technology, and diplomatic cover. The global power balance is shifting, with the Middle East at its epicenter. The world is watching two nations locked in a death spiral. One wrong move could turn this Cold War hot: a single miscalculation, an airstrike, an assassination. A cyberattack gone too far could unleash a regional conflict with global consequences. Oil markets would crash, refugee flows would spike, terrorist groups would rise from the ashes, and the nuclear non-proliferation system would collapse. A regional war could easily become a global crisis. Yet both Iran and Israel continue to escalate, because neither believes the other will blink. And so we wait, on edge, watching as history unfolds before our eyes. The Iran-Israel conflict is no longer a theory. It's happening now, in the skies over Syria, in the waters of the Red Sea, in the streets of Tel Aviv and Tehran. The question is no longer if something catastrophic will happen. The question is when. To understand how we arrived at this point, Watch the next video on how the 1979 Iranian Revolution changed the Middle East forever.